in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how to quit your mindless social media addiction so that your parents love you again and you become reborn. So if you don't know me, my name's Atharv and I help teens struggling with addiction and bad mental health. So if you don't know me, my name's Atharv and I make videos to save the lives of teens who are struggling with addiction and bad mental health in order to help them get through the barrier of just getting through this crippling addiction that they've had for so long. And I make this video because I went from playing video games for 12 hours a day to now having completely quit video games, social media, all the overstimulation, and pretty much just becoming reborn as a person. I'm pretty sure I have maybe 1 hour of educational online consumption time scheduled out, and that's about it. I have no other mindless blocks of time where I'm just scrolling on social media without even remembering what I'm looking at. I'm in no way addicted anymore, and sometimes I'll go literally days without even touching social media and still feeling completely fine, which may feel like a foreign concept to you at this point. Because of this, my mental health is completely healed. I am no longer shackled by the addictions of social media, video games, porn, everything. I'm more motivated than ever, and my relationship with my parents and all of my relationships in general have just become more fulfilling. In other words, my life has done a complete 180 ever since I quit social media. But you might be thinking stuff like, wait, what? You need social media to stay in touch. If I quit social media, my friends won't like me anymore. Oh no, guys. Well, I just want to let you know that that is a complete lie that has been implanted by these skinny neck engineers who have created their product so that you become hooked to it. When I was consuming for 12 hours a day, I thought that I was doing myself something good because now I could stay in touch with the memes that I was watching that my friends were also watching. And the funny thing is, I actually felt 10 times more out of touch and more sort of just detached with people in my life. Like, my social skills plummeted during that time. They didn't go up. And I'll tell you why. It's because when you have friends, when you connect with people, you're connected with people that are like-minded with you. You make friends with people who you have something in common with. And when you make friends with people online and when you have friends that revolve around video games, you're basically just making friends with brain-dead, dumb people who have no future. Like, I'm telling you right now, 90% of all the friends you've ever made on video games are people who don't want to go the same path as. They do not have a bright path ahead of them. And here's the thing, you're literally watching a video on how to quit social media. You do not belong with these people. These brain-dead idiots who you keep on hanging out with do nothing but tear you down whenever you want to do something good for yourself. Your internet video game friends are just losers at this point. You are better than simply playing video games 12 hours a day, but that is exactly what they do. You are the average of the 5 friends that you're closest to. In other words, when you're mindlessly consuming content from brain-dead people, and when you're hanging out with these people who are playing video games 12 hours a day, they're going to influence you to do the same things that they do. They're going to influence you to be losers. In other words, the stupid friends that you hang out and that you swear by are keeping you stupid, they are keeping you addicted. They're keeping you behind in the race of life. And I say this because currently we are going through the most formative years as teenagers. If you do the right things now, your future will be bright. But these people will hold you back. You cannot maintain these friendships based exclusively on a substance, on an addiction, on video games, on social media. You cannot simply waste your potential on social media, on brain-dead content. You don't want to be associated with these people anymore. You are better than them at this point. So now you made it here, here's how to actually quit social media. Because all the content that you've seen already on this topic about quitting social media comes from brain-dead fools that I don't even think have ever touched a video game console in their life. They're so out of touch and their advice is so garbage. It's honestly so sad that they still get millions of views because their videos do not help. Because they do not address the main issue as to why you're addicted to social media and how exactly to get out of this rut. So we've already addressed the social aspect of it. However, we need to address another problem that's led to this web of addiction, which is simply that you have poor mental health and that you're probably semi-depressed without even knowing it. So let me just give you a disclaimer. Not all social media is actually terrible for you. Videos like this where there's not very much edits except for some cuts here and there, where there's pretty much no weird fancy visuals to spike your dopamine, these are beneficial for you, especially at the beginning of your self-improvement journey where all you're looking to do is find information that you can use to implement yourself. So when I hear these people saying like, oh, quit social media entirely, guys, go live in a plateau on the Himalayas, that's not exactly very actionable advice, is it? Don't really need to quit every single ounce of social media. What we need to do is to quit the brain-dead, hyper-edited, pointless content that you've been consuming for 10 hours a day. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, the real reason that you're addicted to social media, or at least one of the main reasons, is simply the fact that you have garbage mental health and you're probably semi-depressed. Right now, you live like you're subhuman. Like you're a caveman at this point. You probably haven't gotten a ray of sunlight into your eyes. You have crap food all over the floor and all over your shirt. And so, of course, you're going to have awful mental health. So you're going to cope with it by watching hyper-edited dopamine edits that are going to make you feel better for a short amount of time. When you have awful mental health, you're not going to be motivated to do any of the hard work that you know you need to do. So the first thing that we need to do is to get out of this cycle by improving our mental health. And how do we do this? By living like a human, by living like how we're supposed to, like how our ancestors did. It is so sad to see that we live our lives sat inside watching YouTube for hours a day while still watching videos on how to quit YouTube. If you want to quit, go and get some sunlight on your skin. Go live like a human. Drink a glass of water, bro. I know this sounds kind of condescending coming from a teenager, but you need to hear this. Of course you're going to feel depressed when you don't live like you're actually a human, like how you're supposed to. Of course your brain's going to feel malnourished of actual fulfillment in life if all you do is sit there and consume without actually getting the proper nutrients into your body. You need to be better than this, bro. This is how you quit social media. By living like a human again, not like all the brainless losers that you hang out with who are cooped up right now, probably sleeping in until 1 p.m., but by sleeping on time, getting good quality rest, by not mindlessly consuming content and frying your dopamine receptors, by getting some sunlight on your skin, by going for a walk outside. You probably haven't done that in a week now that school's over, bro. Come on. In order to live on like a human, you need to go on something called the dopamine detox lifestyle, where you pretty much eliminate most of the god awful content, the god awful food from your life. And that takes time to slowly, gradually reduce. But you will not regret it, I promise you. So you need to live like a human. That's step one. You need to improve your mental health. And this other way that you need to do it is to understand a concept that has pretty much changed my life entirely. Is to understand a habit that will pretty much be the antidote to all the overstimulation that has caused you to get here and watch YouTube and play video games for 12 hours a day. And that is meditation. Now, most people already clicked off by now because they have awful mental health and awful attention spans. But meditation is pretty much the antidote to all the overstimulation, to the low attention span that you've been hearing about. Meditation is the habit that literally turned my life in a complete 180 degree. And this habit will completely change your life too if you actually implement what I'm about to say. So what meditation is pretty much the anti-overstimulation. And I say this because overstimulation is pretty much you simply having different contexts, different new pop-ups, new icons, constantly triggering dopamine, and subsequently constantly frying your mind until you can't focus for even a second. Because of this, you have depression. You can't focus. You can't pay attention to life. And because of this, you live like you're almost AFK, like you're in a dream state. What you need to do is to heal your mind by retraining it to, instead of neurotically looking at all the different stimulation out there, to simply be in the present, to live life again like you're a human. And meditation helps you to do this. So what meditation pretty much is you focusing on one thing. It could be your breath, it could be the sound of a fan in your room, whatever. It's pretty much just you focusing on that one source of stimulation for a prolonged period of time. And you slowly, gradually increase this. So most people use their breath, so I'm just going to explain it to you. Meditation is not just focusing, though. Meditation is pretty much the art of trying to focus on, let's say, your breath. Having your mind start to wander because you probably don't have monk-level attention spans to consistently focus on your breath. But what happens is when your mind wanders, you recognize that your mind is wandering, and you just observe the thoughts going on in your head, and then shift your mind back to your breath, back to being present. That's like doing one dumbbell curl, pretty much, for your mind. When you do this cycle of you reverting back to your breath, it's like doing one dumbbell curl for your mind. It's healing your attention span. It's like getting another shot in your mind of medicine in order to help with the overstimulation. So I've talked about meditation a lot, and it seems like kind of a bastardized habit, considering that it's sort of like an old Indian guru under a tree going Om for 5 hours a day. But no, meditation is simply you healing your mind from all the poison that you've been filling into it. That's all. And when you do it consistently for just a few days or weeks, you will see improvements. You will see that you're more present. And this will help infinitely with your mental health. Because now you don't need all the stimulation to keep you living, to keep you motivated. Now you're fine simply living life. You can pretty much raw dog life. And that's amazing, because that's pretty much the main thing that's happening with social media. You've constantly been having more stimulation. Oh, more sound effects. Oh, more video games. More enemies. More everything. Meditation helps you retrain your mind so that you live like a human again. So you get out of this semi-depressed state of you not being able to focus. You craving that stimulation. Or else you almost get like withdrawal symptoms, like you're a drug addict. If you take one thing away from this video, it's that you need to start meditating. And you can do it slowly. It doesn't need to be 10 hours of meditation a day. All you need is just 30 seconds to a minute of meditation a day consistently. That's what will actually help you. A lot of people say, like, okay, start with 20 minutes of meditation. No, bro. You're like level 1 of meditation. If you're a guru and you've been meditating since you were 5 years old, of course, you could probably meditate for an hour. But we're like level 3 in meditation. If he's like level 100, we're like level 3 in meditation. We just need to get into the habit of doing it, of slowly extracting the poison from our mind, slowly getting into this habit, and we do it by starting small. Just meditate for 10 breaths today. Focus on your breath for like a few breaths, and then once your mind wanders, come back to your breath. Do this like 3 times, and then boom, that's it for the day. Just train your mind slowly, and over time, over months or years, you will start, over days and then weeks and then months, you will gradually start seeing that slowly you can unknit your life from all of the awful indulgences in video games and junk food and porn and social media that you have been doing for so long. Because here's the cool thing about this. After being addicted to social media for 10 years, it only takes about a few months in order to get rid of this addiction. It doesn't take that long. You just need to do the right things, like meditating and living like a human again. So now that we covered the 2 parts of getting rid of the bad influences and then improving your mental health, we need to talk about the one more crucial aspect of getting rid of the social media addiction, which is that you don't want to just quit social media, you want to replace social media. So what do I mean by this? When you quit something that you've been doing for 12 hours a day, like consuming on social media, playing video games, eating junk food, when you quit that, there's now like a vacuum of your time. And if you don't have something that you can do to replace that time, to replace that waste, that energy that you have, you're just going to gravitate back to the normal habits of playing video games 12 hours a day, of eating junk food, of scrolling on social media for 12 hours a day. So this is actually crucial, because if you do not do this step, what happens is that, again, most people, they quit video games for like a day, or they quit social media for a day, and then all of a sudden they come right back to it because they have nothing to do. They're bored out of their mind. They don't have anything to replace the vacuum that comes with quitting this huge addiction for you. You were put on this earth to do more than just consume endlessly. You were put on this earth to be superior. You were put on this earth to fulfill something in your life, a mission, a purpose. And it sounds kind of weird coming from a 14-year-old who probably doesn't have much to say about purpose. But you need to understand that these are the most formative years of your life. It is your duty to not waste the entirety of your childhood with overstimulation and brain dead content consumption. You are better than this. You have bigger aspirations, bigger work to do in this lifetime. And what you need to understand is that when you want to achieve something, you need to go through something called pain. You need to go through pain first in order to then get the pleasure out of it. And this is a concept that I learned that actually completely turned my life around. And it's delayed gratification and instant gratification. What I mean when I say this is that when you delay the gratification, do the good habits, it's actually pretty painful at the beginning, right? It's pretty painful to go and do a workout. It's pretty painful to resist the bad habits. But what happens is that later on, you benefit from this. You benefit from doing the workouts, because after a while, you start seeing some muscle on your arms. You start seeing that your mental health has gotten better, and that your grades have improved, because all of a sudden you can focus after meditating. And so what you need to understand is that you need to delay the gratification at this age. Delay the pleasure. Do the hard work when you don't feel like it. Delay the pleasure right now so that your future self looks back and smiles at you. There is work that you know you need to do, whether it's studying, actually working out, actually doing the good habits like meditating, and going out and getting some sunlight. These are things that are pretty hard to do, but when you start out small, you can easily achieve it. So what am I saying here? I'm saying that you need to start replacing the bad habits with a mission, with a goal that you have, whether it's to lose 10 pounds, whether it's to study every single day and get the best grades in the school. That is all possible, and I have done it. So what you need to do right now is to just quickly think, okay, what tasks could I do to fill up my time that I will get once I quit video games, once I quit all of these bad habits? For me, it was studying and working on my fitness. But for you, it might be like developing yourself in a sport that you know that you're kind of bad at because you're pretty fat. It could be to simply spend more time with your parents. It could be to chase. It could be anything, but you need to have a mission right now. You need to have some big goals that you're working on, or else nothing in this video will help you. You need something to replace the bad habits, not simply to get rid of the bad habits, but to replace them entirely so that you have a new identity for yourself. And here's a tip for doing this. You need to start out small, because if you try to commit to a 2-hour workout routine every single day, within a day or two after grunting it out, after grunting painfully throughout the whole house, you will be done. You'll be dead on the floor and you'll be eating junk food again. What you need to do is to instead start small. If you want to get the best grades in the school, if you want to become the fittest kid in your class, do 5 minutes of exercise and 10 minutes of studying. Do small things, whether it's like a 30-second plank followed by 5 minutes of reviewing your notes. Start doing the good habits and slowly replacing all the bad. And eventually you'll see that, oh wait, I've just replaced video games. I no longer need these things. I have work that's fulfilling to me that I know I will do and benefit from more than video games and junk food and overstimulation. When you do a certain habit, you're reinforcing your identity with it. So let's say there's an election, right? You need votes for somebody to pop up, for a politician to win, right? When you have a habit is sort of like a politician. It needs votes, it needs repetitions in order to actually form and rise up. And so, how do you get these votes for your habits? How do you, let's say, become, because here's the thing, your behavior is influenced by your habits. And habits need votes just like a politician does. And you get these votes by doing the actions that will lead to the result that you want. So basically what I'm trying to say is, if you look at the fittest guy in the class, he has like 10,000 repetitions, 10,000 votes of workouts. He has hours and hours of just fitness related activity. And so how do you do this? You start out small. Every single time you do an action, you're casting a vote for that identity. Every single time you do a push-up, that's another pebble placed on the scale in order to reinforce this new identity of you being a fit person. So you need to start out small. 2 minutes of studying today, a minute of meditation today. Reinforce these new habits with votes of consistency, with repetitions, and then new identity eventually gets built, and you can quit all the social media that you've been indulging in. But this comes from a book called Atomic Habits, which is one of the best books I've ever read. If you buy it, it will literally change your life, and your parents would probably be really glad that you're buying the book. So I don't think I want you to take away from this. It's just simply get the reps in, show up for a few weeks, do the small things. 2 minutes of working out every single day for 2 weeks. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're consistent. Oh my god, now you can increase it to 5 minutes, to 10 minutes. Slowly, this is how we build up to becoming the person that we want to be. It's through small changes, 2 minutes of just small actions, small pebbles placed on the scale, until eventually a new habit has been formed and you love the hard work. So that's actually been a lot of information to digest. So here's just a quick recap. Stop hanging out with loser friends because they will not benefit you. And don't keep doing the same habits that you do simply because they do it. You're better than them. Second of all, in order to get rid of these addictions, you need to live like a human again, so your mental health improves and you don't need to cope with brain rot, overstimulation. And third, you need to start out small by replacing the bad habits by doing the small things every single day. Get the votes in for each of the habits that you try to create for yourself. That is how winners are made. Small actions consistently and then slowly progressively overloading them. Do those 3 things and suddenly you will be able to quit social media, your parents will love you again, and you will be reborn. Go down and click the subscribe button so that you get more videos just like this posted to your feed. My name's Atharv. See you soon.